iPlayer, that's what it's there for. Have a nice evening. Now, when we think of climate change and greenhouse gases, perhaps the first thing that springs to mind is CO2 pollution from traffic or heavy industry. However, methane emissions from agriculture and particularly cows is also a big contributor to global warming. Now, a special type of seaweed being developed by a former student from Lincoln. It's being used to tackle the problem. Luke Smith says that just a small amount of the plant can mean that cattle produce less methane when they burp. Our environment correspondent Paul Murphy takes up the story.
As they munch through their winter feed, these Lincoln Reds are blissfully unaware of the consequences. It's mainly when they burp that the planet gets more unwanted methane.
A lot of people don't realise methane is 85 times more harmful than CO2, and a cow burps enough methane each year, the equivalent to a car.
Methane levels in our atmosphere, seen here in red, are increasing by 1% every year. The gas absorbs heat from the sun, and that causes global warming. Luke's been working with scientists in Scotland to develop a special type of seaweed that reacts in a cow's stomach to reduce emissions. It's creating huge interest in an industry increasingly conscious of its impact on the planet.
Farming is probably responsible for around 30+% of the global greenhouse emissions, so therefore anything we can do to tackle those emissions is really important. Obviously livestock's a big part of that.
Just a sprinkling is enough to make these burping cattle more eco-friendly.
That's what's amazing, is that it's something so small can make such a massive impact, and that's what's key really, is that you don't want to have like tons and tons of this, because obviously you want it to be scalable and sustainable in both ways, and the idea is that we want to be able to incorporate as minimal amount as possible to be able to actually reduce the emissions that they burp.
The former University of Lincoln student is now trying to scale up his business. He's hoping to use what's called carbon offsetting to eventually offer the seaweed for free to livestock farmers. Paul Murphy, BBC Look North, Lincoln.
And don't forget, if you've got a story you think we should be